So you're probably used to looking at dashboards someone else built, right? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to flip that script entirely. We're going to take you from just being a dashboard viewer to being a dashboard builder, someone who can create production-grade dashboards that actually tell a story and help you find problems before anyone else even knows they exist.
And yeah, this really gets to the core of the problem, doesn't it? You can have all the metrics in the world flowing into Prometheus, but if all you have is a wall of numbers, it's just noise. It's useless. So our job, right now, is to cut through that noise and build something that tells a clear, compelling story about what's really going on inside our systems.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the why, the design philosophy. Then we'll get into the how, choosing the right panels, making things dynamic with variables, and organizing them for clarity. We'll even cover how to add crucial context with annotations, and a huge time saver, not reinventing the wheel. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1, Dashboard Design. And look, before you even think about dragging a single panel onto the screen, you need a plan. The best dashboards aren't just a random collection of graphs, they're built on a solid, proven framework.
The good news is we're not starting from zero. We're going to stand on the shoulders of giants and use two incredibly powerful industry-standard methods. For your applications and services, we've got the RED method, and for all the infrastructure underneath, we've got the US method.
All right, let's really dig into the RED method. It's so simple and so powerful. For basically any service you're running, you really only need to know three things. Rate, how much traffic are we getting? Errors, how much of that traffic is failing? And duration, how long is it taking? Seriously, if you just get these three things on a dashboard, you're like 90% of the way there.
And what about the stuff running those services? Your servers, your databases, your message queues? For that, we use the use method. U is for utilization, how busy is this thing? S is for saturation, is work piling up, is there a queue forming? And E is for errors, is the resource itself throwing errors. Together, RED and use give you this incredible full-stack view of your entire system's health.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. A good dashboard shouldn't be subtle. Its job is to make problems visible, impossible to ignore. It should basically scream at you when something's wrong. That's the principle that's going to guide every choice we make from here on out.
Okay, on to Section 2, picking the right panel. Now that we have our strategy, let's talk about the tools of the trade. This is super important because the right visualization gives you that instant aha moment, while the wrong one is just, well, a confusing mess of lines.
Now, Grafana has a ton of panels, but we're not going to cover all of them. We're going to focus on the essentials, the workhorses you'll be using over and over again to build out those amazing RED and use dashboards. First up, the classic, the time series panel. Honestly, this is your workhorse. It's the bread and butter of almost every dashboard. Anytime you want to see how a value changes over time, your request rate, your CPU usage, anything, this is your go-to. It's perfect for seeing trends, spikes, and weird patterns.
But hey, sometimes you don't care about the history. You just need to know what's the number right now. And for that, the stat panel is absolutely perfect. It's designed to show a single important number, your current error rate, your uptime SLO, big, bold, and right in your face.
Okay, now what if you've got a metric that has a clear min and max, like CPU usage from 0 to 100%, or disk space? That's where the gauge panel really shines. You can set thresholds so it automatically turns yellow or red when things get dangerous, giving you that instant visual feedback.
So when you're done with the high-level view and you need to get into the nitty-gritty details, the table panel is your best friend. It's awesome for answering those really specific questions like which 10 pods are using the most memory, or which API endpoint is having the most errors. It lets you sort and rank to find the culprit fast.
Okay, now we're getting into what I think is one of the most powerful features in Grafana. This is the secret sauce that takes you from a one-off, static dashboard to something truly reusable and professional. I'm talking about variables.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You spend hours crafting this perfect, beautiful dashboard for one service, and then your boss asks for the same thing for the other 99 services. Are you really going to copy and paste it 99 times? No way! That's a maintenance nightmare waiting to happen.
The answer, my friends, is template variables. Look at this query. Instead of hard-coding a namespace or a pod name, we use these placeholders, these variables that start with a $sign. Grafana then automatically turns those into drop-downs at the top of your dashboard, so you can switch between services, environments, whatever you want, With a single click, it's one dashboard to rule them all.
And it gets even cooler. You can actually chain these variables together. So you could have a dropdown that queries Prometheus for all of your namespaces. Then, when you pick a namespace, a second dropdown automatically populates with just the pods in that namespace. It creates this super slick, intuitive drill-down experience for anyone using your dashboard.
All right, so we've got our strategy, we've got our panels, we've got our dynamic variables. Now we got to put it all together in a way that makes sense even for someone seeing it for the very first time. And that's all about structure and organization.
Here's a pro tip, a layout that just works every single time. Use collapsible rows. Start at the very top with the big picture stuff, your key numbers and stat panels. Then have a row dedicated to traffic, then another for latency, then resources, and finally a row at the bottom with all the nitty-gritty arrow details. You see how that works? It's a natural flow from the 30,000-foot view right down to the ground level.
So our dashboard is great at telling us what happened. We can see a spike in latency, we can see a drop in traffic, but it doesn't tell us why. And that why is maybe the most important part of debugging. That's where annotations come in.
Honestly, this might be my favorite feature in all of Grafana. Annotations are these vertical lines that get drawn across all your graphs to mark important events. You can set them up to trigger automatically on things like a new code deployment or when an alert starts firing. All of a sudden, that mystery latency spike isn't a mystery anymore. You can see it clear as day. It happened the exact second version 1.2 was deployed. It's a game changer for debugging.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about building from the ground up, but let's be real. Sometimes you don't have to. One of the best things about Grafana is its massive active community. And for a lot of the common tools we all use, someone has already done the hard work for you. If you head over to the Grafana website, there's this huge public library of dashboards for just about everything you can imagine. Are you running the Kubernetes node exporter? There's a dashboard for that. A Java application? There's a dashboard for that too. You literally just find the ID number, paste it into your Grafana instance, and boom, instant feature-rich dashboard.
All right, let's wrap this up with a quick cheat sheet of the do's and don'ts. Do, start with a solid methodology like read or use. Do, treat your dashboards as code and save them in Git. On the flip side, don't try to cram 50 panels onto one dashboard, and please, for the love of all that is holy, don't hard-code values when you should be using variables. And seriously, a final pro tip, check how it looks on your phone. You'll be so glad you did when that alert wakes you up at 3 a.m.
So there you have it. You now have the skills to build truly production-grade dashboards that can show you when there's a problem. But what happens when you're not staring at the screen? The next logical step, of course, is alerting, so you get notified before your users even have a chance to complain. But that's a story for another time. Thanks for tuning in.